down this year. All right. I like it.
That's what you always wanted.
Yeah.
What's that, guys?
All set, guys.
Zach, just your assessment of the quarterbacks, how they did out on Saturday.
Yeah, there was some ups and downs. Obviously, it wasn't the ideal first game, for them. But I thought overall there was, as you look back at the game, there was a lot of great plays and some situational awareness that we need to, clean up as well. And going into the first game, you expect to have some highs and some lows, and obviously you want to do everything perfectly. And you're going into a game hoping that everything's going to get executed the way you plan. But that's not the way it always happens. But I thought there was a lot of good stuff from both of those guys, and I know they're excited for the next opportunity.
How do you try to handle it when, obviously Brett had some struggles, and when Montel was in, it seemed like the offense was clicking a little more, and he was in there in some pivotal situations in his first game here. And now certainly people are like, Montel played better, so why doesn't he play more and stuff like that? How do you handle that dynamic?
Right. Brett has put himself in that position to be the starter, and he's earned it. And one game's not going to influence that either way. And it was real nice seeing Montel come in and adding a spark in certain situations. And there was some stuff that he needs to clean up as well. With some situational things that happen. But overall, with the mix of both of those guys within our offense, I think it brings a different dynamic to defensive coordinators trying to plan, is Brett going to be in, is Montel going to be in, and then the different offenses and things that you can try to do with both of them. You've got a strong arm pocket guy that can make all the throws and can hurt you with the pass, and then you've got an athletic quarterback that can throw it as well but can also run. So I think it creates a fun dynamic for us as coaches, and we can be creative with it.
I know you guys plan to play Montel, but I think you'd probably be lying if in the fourth quarter when you drive where you needed to score and put the game away that he'd be the guy that would be in there. You probably didn't expect that to happen. How did Brett kind of handle that where you kind of went with the hot hand there, I guess, or what was working for the offense? But as you said, he is kind of the guy that's earned it, and he probably didn't expect to be on the sidelines at that point in the game.
Yeah, you never know how the flow of the game is going to go, and we expected to play Montel at certain parts of the game, and we got him in, I think it was the fourth series or something like that, and got a feel. Obviously, that was the drive that Alex ended up hitting that big run for the TD, and then Brett went back in. We were kind of in that 2-minute situation before half, before the end of half, and then. I'm sure, obviously, Brett wants to finish the game, and Montel wants to finish the game, and, they both want to play. And that was kind of the way it all ended out, where Montel, we felt like Montel was doing some good things, and it gave us a little bit more of a run threat from the quarterback or a boot threat, and, opened some other things up because of it. So, Brett is a professional, and like I've said from day one, he handles things really well. And, when we got in the quarterback meeting room the next day, it was back to work, and there's a great vibe, and those guys both work well together, and they feed off each other, and they push each other, and that's what you want as a coach. And, Montel's going to make Brett better, and Brett's going to make Montel better.
I know the big emphasis for Brett was kind of improving on that pocket awareness and stuff. And what do you see in those regards? because this was especially a pass to Blakely where he stepped up and made a nice move. But
yeah,
how hard can it be when I'm assuming there's certain things that are predictable, but having your right tackle probably just push back into your lap at times probably isn't something you wouldn't expect to have to deal with.
Overall. Troy had a really good defense. They're physical, and at times we got pushed around a little bit, and then there was other times where we were pushing them around too, up front. But they had a very athletic defense. And the play you're talking about with Brett, on that third down when we kind of went into a quads set and ran some crossers, and Brett escaped and created a little bit more time and kept his eyes downfield and made a play. And those were the type of things that we were working on in the off season, and it was nice, that it showed up. he took a few hits in the game too, trying to do a few things. So there's got to be some give and take, and know when it's smart, and when you have those opportunities to flush and get out, but also have that ball security and that awareness, if we're doing that as well.
Does Brett still have things to work on in terms of when things aren't starting well for him and compounding a little bit, not getting out of control? There's his last 3 starts have kind of had that, and now he's got Montel there, and he's playing at Washington State. You talk about that pressure aspect. Is that something he still needs to work on, and how are you guys trying to fix that with him?
I think he does a really good job of handling it. Honestly, we've talked about and worked on the whole mindset of, hey, when things don't go right, it's next play mentality, and you got to forget the past and not dwell on it. And so I think he's doing a very good job of that, and not letting things compound. Even after, some, whether it was the pick or whether it was that, where he fumbled and gets hit and all that stuff. He came back and battled, and he's a tough kid, and I respect him for that, and I know the team does too. And at the end of the day, there's going to be highs and lows, and obviously there was some situations where he was frustrated with in the game and after the game, and but again, I'm seeing a couple hours later as we're texting that night or the next day in meetings, he's bounced back great, and he's excited for Washington State and excited for practice and to get back with the guys and start working.
Do you think, I think over the last couple of years we've kind of accustomed to seeing, Thomas hauling one-handed catches and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like there were maybe a couple opportunities in that game for somebody to make a little bit of a play on a ball or something. I know Jake kind of had one up the seam, and Octavius kind of struggled to get the hand up, maybe to use 2 hands to catch a ball, but I just think there might have been a couple of plays like that too that could have gone a long way in finding a rhythm.
I think there's always, some of those plays in every game where it was close, or, what if he would have caught that or that, But really looking at it from a wide receiver standpoint, Coach Kiesau's done a phenomenal job with those guys, especially the young guys. We're getting 2 young guys in there that haven't played any college football, and they're out there doing some things. Octavius made some big 3rd down catches, and that was fun to see. He's a physical kid, and he's still raw and still learning and all that stuff, but he's gonna be really good. But looking at the game from a wide receiver standpoint, there wasn't any drops. True like drops. Everybody kind of did what they needed to do, and again, I thought some of the big things that showed up that were positives for the offense were, 3rd down was pretty good. I thought we had a pretty good plan there, and our quarterbacks executed, and because we were in 3rd and long a lot. I think there was 12 of those 3rd downs that were 3rd and 7 plus. So being at 47%, on 3rd down, and then really 2 of those that you don't get credit for got us in a 3rd and long situation to a 4th and 1. Now, we didn't convert the 4th and 1s, but and that's part of the opposite side where we've got to focus on our short yardage package and making sure that our 4th down plan is solid, and we can go execute and feel good with all that stuff, because that was something that hurt us in drives and took us out of some drives where those 4th down stops.
What does Washington State's defense impress you the most, and then just playing in Martin Stadium on a Saturday night on nationally televised on ESPN?
Yeah, playing at Washington State is going to be a whole lot of fun. And our guys are excited for that. Their defense is very solid all the way through. They've got some really good D linemen. Obviously, Hercules, number 50, is a stud, and he's going to be a test, for us. Their backers are very good, and they're fast, and they can run. And then their secondary has a lot of experience. Really, they got some good experience all the way through, and again, they're fast and they're athletic, and it'll be a good test for us. But we're excited for the opportunity, and playing there, and our first away game is always fun, getting on the road and seeing how we handle that.
What do you think of the O-line play, and you look at, the group that was out there for that game compared to the group you had for the Cactus Bowl? You lost a lot of experience, and a lot of guys were kind of really getting a crash course, or kind of in the first game there. What I don't want to say it's expected to see a drop off, but is there a little bit of growing pains where you can't expect it to be exactly the same as it was when you look at who you lost?
Yeah, I think there's you lose some big guys and some guys that played a lot of football. There's always going to be those growing pains. Now, I think our guys have gelled really well. I think Coach Bedell's done a phenomenal job, and they absolutely love him in that room, and they're playing their butts off for him and for us. And I think early on you're still trying to find that gel, and even through fall camp you're getting there, and we're building that chemistry in the O-line and getting a feel for the communication all the way out to the tight ends. As we're still working through some of that stuff, but I thought they played tough, they played physical, and it's a little bit of that learning process. And this going back to the spring when we had a lot of those guys out, helped us build some depth. So we do feel good with our depth in the O-line, and now that we're putting everybody back together and actually getting into game one, there were some good things, and we're going to keep building from there.
Did putting Montel in there kind of help with, because the offensive line maybe had some struggles, because it seemed like when Brett was in, he was getting pressured. I think he got sacked 4 times and weren't able to run the ball as well when he was in there. But just adding Montel, was that a conscious decision based on how the O-line was having some issues, or how did that factor in?
I think it just ended up working out that way a little bit. It may have been due to some of the formations we were in with Montel, opening it up a little bit more, and adding the quarterback run piece to that, can spread them out and thin them out a little bit and create another gap. But, I don't know how it affected them that much. It may have just been coincidence that we kind of ended up hitting a few, more runs.
Zach, obviously it was your first game calling the plays. How did you kind of evaluate yourself as you went back and looked at your first game, and anything that you're kicking yourself for afterward or anything like that? Sure.
No, it was fun. It was a blast. I felt very comfortable up there, and having the coaches around me that we do have is a blessing for me. We've got a great offensive staff and a lot of great communication that goes along with that. Coach Harsin adds a ton to the mix, within a game, and one of the things that I felt, kind of going back to our offense, just in general, we did a pretty good job of handling adversity, and there was a decent amount of adversity through the game, and that was one of our big things, and Coach Harsin has been preaching through the whole camp, was that we got to handle it. We got to handle it together. We got to be positive, and we can't get tight, because that's when you don't play well. You got to play loose and play fast and play confident, and I thought our guys, did that for the most part. They could have got tight and they could have went into a shell, but they didn't. They stayed together, and we worked through some ups and downs, and so I thought that was a positive part. And Coach Harsin was a huge influence in that too.
I just feel like the rotation at running back worked. If you looked after the game, Madison and Wolpen almost had like identical snap counts, and even Mahone played over double-digit snaps. So
yeah.
On that note, Madison also didn't have like a carry for like almost a quarter and a half after that touchdown run. So how hard is it to kind of be cognizant of that while you're balancing it all out?
That's something we're definitely looking at. Going into the game, we knew there was going to be a good rotation, and we were going to try to get a lot of those guys, multiple carries. So it wasn't going to be a heavy workload on Alex. Wolp was going in as the guy we were going with, and to start things out, and whether it's be the first half or the second half, and mixing in Alex and mixing in Rob, and just seeing how it went. But yeah, we got to pay attention to who's got the hot hand too, at times, and if Alex is busting runs, and we got to find ways to get him the ball.